Hi, Oasis Junior team. You have one of the coolest jobs at Oasis. You get to talk to kids that have the biggest imaginations. But with those huge imaginations and all those feelings that they're starting to experience and go through and learning to express themselves, ages 3 through 5 can be tough. And sometimes you're going to end up dealing with kids who don't want to exactly follow the rules that you've established. In Oasis Junior, the rules are to be safe, be kind, and to listen. And we want to create clear boundaries and expectations as to what's going to happen when kids choose not to follow those guidelines. So with Oasis Junior, how we establish discipline in that class is largely through redirection. At this age, kids are so easy to redirect, and we do want to give them chances. So one thing to remember with this age group and discipline is once they have corrected on one thing, if they start doing something completely different that you don't agree with or doesn't line up with your rules, you're going to start over with the discipline policy. You're not going to call them out on every single little thing they do, because at that age it's just so discouraging, and it's hard for a little person to learn self-control. This is the age when they're really starting to understand that they have to control their body. They can't just get whatever they want immediately. People are not going to say yes to their every desire, and that they are sharing toys. Age 3 is when kids start to play together for the first time. Prior to age 3, kids play very independently. And you'll notice that some of your 3-year-olds still haven't moved on to that cooperative play stage, and this causes some tension. This can cause issues between two children. It can cause issues between a child and a teacher if the teacher wants the class to move in one direction and little Annie is not quite ready to put down the princess. So I want to give you some tools that you can use in order to keep your classroom running smoothly and to enforce discipline in your class. So discipline is helping kids to have a higher level of learning. It's teaching, it's instructing. And in this case, we're going to start with step 1 of a 4-step process. So we're going to go through all 4 steps. We're going to start with step 1. Remember, each time there's a course correction, you kind of restart the process with this age group. So Annie has decided she's not ready to go to music. She wants to sit and play with her princess dolls. So you come to Annie and you're like, Annie, look how your friends are coming to music. This is a great opportunity for you to play. You can even bring the princess doll with you. Just really encourage Annie to join the flow, okay? That's step 1 of redirection for that type of situation. But what if it's something a little more dramatic? Like, what if Billy has just hit his best friend, Bobby? Okay, Billy, I see that you hit Bobby. Let's go play with a different friend for a few minutes, okay? It's not okay to hit. One of our rules is to be kind. Reinforce that rule. You want to point back to the rule so that every time they're hearing it, they're associating the rule with a behavior. Okay, the rule is to be kind. So next time I feel like hitting, I'm going to remember to be kind. Make sure the last thing you say is what you want them to do, not what you don't want them to do. Because if you just say, Bobby, don't hit, all they're going to hear is the last word, which was hit. So they're going to be saying, oh, my teacher told me I could hit. And it's hard with 3 and 4-year-olds. You really have to be on your toes, and sometimes you're going to mess up, and that's okay. We just keep trying and we keep learning. So you've redirected, you've told Bobby he can hit, we're to be kind in class and use gentle hands and not touch our friends. So you've told Bobby this. Annie, you have told that she can bring her princess doll to worship with you, and she has decided to join you. She is all in. Bobby has also decided he's done hitting. He's going to come join music. Well, during music, Annie decides she's done. She doesn't really want to do music anymore, so she walks away and sits down with the princess doll. Now, with this age group, there's a few things you need to ask yourself. Are they being kind? Are they being safe? And are they listening? Annie chose to come and participate in music, but she still wasn't ready for it. She's safe. She's not hurting anybody. It's not going to strongly affect your class if you allow her to go sit, as long as she's not causing other children to want to do the same thing. And often you'll be able to keep the majority together because you've got that herd mentality. They want to be where everybody else is. If one or two kids try to join Annie, be like, I'm sorry, Annie needs some alone time. Come stay with us. So Annie's fine. But Bobby has decided that music is his favorite thing, and he's going to spin around and smack all his friends in the face. That's not okay. It's not safe. It's not kind. So we're going to redirect Bobby. Oh my goodness. Gracie, you are such a beautiful dancer. Thank you for dancing. You're going to give attention to the kids that are doing what you want. You're going to give that positive attention to kids that are following the rules, that are participating. Because when you do that, you're saying, this is what I want. This is what I want more of, so this is what I'm going to pay attention to. If Bobby's hurting someone, you're going to have to do an immediate, Bobby, spinning's not okay. It's not kind. Can you please clap your hands? Or give him something else to do. But one of the biggest things you can do with this age group is really focus on those kids that are doing exactly what you want. That's going to have the greatest impact. Okay, Bobby didn't stop spinning. He kept spinning. He wouldn't stop. It's already caused one child to almost get smacked in the face, and you know that this can't happen anymore. So now you're going to say, Bobby, if you choose to continue to spin, you will have to go sit at the table for the rest of music. So now you're giving a direct consequence. If you do this, I will do this. It can be whatever is appropriate for the situation. If he's coloring on the table instead of on his paper, Annie, I see that you're coloring on your paper, and you've already redirected her and tried to cause her to stop doing that through other methods. Now she's continued to do it. You give her the cause and effect. Annie, you've chosen to color on the table. If you do it again, you will no longer get to color, and you will need to go play with toys. So you give her direct consequences. If the child is really out of control, that direct consequence should be, you're going to need to sit over here until you're ready to come back and join the class and be calm. And you can either set a timer, 1 minute for every year, or you can set a behavioral timer. When you're ready to calm down, you may rejoin the circle. And you're going to still set a physical timer for that child because you don't want them to cry and scream and throw themselves on the floor for an hour. I would not go longer than 5 minutes with crying. After 5 minutes, they need to go take a break from the room. This includes crying because they miss their parents. After that 5 minutes, you can either have them go sit in the main kids building for a few minutes to see if that helps, or you can call the parent if they are sounding like they're going to throw up, because nobody wants to deal with that. All right, so you have redirected. Step one, you've redirected. Step 2, you have given a clear consequence warning. Step 3, they have received the consequence. If they come back, they're little angels, they're not doing anything wrong, great. They start doing a different behavior, say they start fighting over a toy. You're not going to immediately jump back where you were in your discipline thing. It's something completely different. You need to start the process over, especially with this age group. You go back to the redirection. Oh, I see you're not sharing that toy. Let's go find something else to do. But say that's not the case. Say they have now continued to they've ran over to their friend, they've grabbed another crayon, and they've decided to color on the table some more. Annie is just out of control now. She has been given all of the previous 3 steps, and she's on step 4. Step 4 is you need to have the child go sit with a ministry coordinator or ask a security member if they can come and sit with them in the main kids building. You never want a child to be one-on-one with someone. If you have enough leaders in the room and you can have a leader take them out of the room and sit in the main room with them for a few minutes, you can try that. If that doesn't work, if they come back and they continue the behavior right where they left off, or they choose not to respect the leader that they're with in the other room, they run off from that leader, or they start immediately causing some sort of havoc, then you're going to tell the child, I am so sorry, Annie. I loved having you in class today, but you chose not to be safe, or you chose not to be kind, or you chose not to listen. And because you chose that, I now have to call your parents. and they are going to have to come and talk to you. At this age, their parents can have a conversation with them. And if the child listens to the parents, is ready to have another chance, give that child one more chance. After they get that last chance, if they act up doing the same exact behavior or something equally as disruptive after the parent has left, you can call that parent right back and be like, I'm so sorry, we tried, but they continued the behavior after you left. So they're going to need to sit the remainder of service with you this week, but they're welcome to try again next week. So now you've created a clear line of events. You went from point A to point B. This is how you got here. You can explain to the parent it wasn't just that Annie colored on the table. It was that Annie chose not to listen when asked not to, not just once, not just twice, but 3 times. In the case of a child hurting another child, that process is going to move very quickly. In the case of drawing on the table, we're going to want to move a little bit more slowly just because it's not hurting anybody, but it is causing destruction in the classroom. All right, so that is our discipline policy in a nutshell. And if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much for being an Oasis Junior leader. You make a huge difference in the kingdom of God. Kids at this age absorb everything. They hear the songs you're singing. They hear the stories. My 3-year-old is currently in your class, and he just comes back with all sorts of things that he learns about Jesus and his love for him and Bible stories and cool crafts. And that is you, and that is the impact you're having. And you are making a forever difference. So thank you.